Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It is Wednesday, April the 24th, the year 2019. Let's talk trading. Horizontal lines, Holo. I know it's later. I was traveling today, so that's why you're getting the video in the afternoon. As we embark on Holo trading, as with all trading, money and risk management, I can't stress it enough. A quick look at the weekly. We can see that prices has went through that lower wick zone. It's now 36 pips off the bottom, and we still have one gap that has not filled right here. Looking at the daily, this was actually earlier in the day, and now we're in the afternoon here. We're about 1 hour or so into the next session, which, depending on where you are in the world, it's Thursday. So you can see here, price entered that lower wick zone and kept on through for a nice run. Okay, looking at the Holo setup currently, you can see where we are. We had the, this was the daily open, because now technically this chart is showing Thursday because of where the broker is located and what their time is. And here is the highest open. See, we're on M5, but you can see right here, we switch over to 1 hour, what it looks like. So we've just had 2 hours candles. And you can see here, we're just kind of moving in this direction, just not much movement because it's still early in the trading day. But I want to introduce you to another concept of Holo. You see, we normally do Holo within a 24-hour period or daily period. The highest open for the day, H1 open for the day, and the lowest. But what I did was I expanded it to also include the weekly, monthly, and yearly highest open. So you can see here, we're doing it the weekly highest open, H1 highest open. And here's the weekly low on the lowest open here, H1 lowest open. Then you can see here we got the daily high and low opens right here for today. But you can also, we've got the monthly highest, H1 highest open, and also the monthly daily highest open, because I figured during the month there's going to be a day with the highest open and a day with the lowest open. And so you can see those ranges, and you can see, and there's the yearly H1 lowest open, and let's see, and here's the yearly H1 highest open. So you can see we're within that range at the moment. And for the monthly, we're within that range right here, H1 and D1. And you can see where we are in the week. We had a, so you can use those lines, trade those Holo trades in the exact same way you trade the H1 Holos. Okay, looking here, this is just the range. So for the week, we've got 126 pips. For the day so far, only 11. Once again, just 2 hours into the day. And the highest open, since there's only 2 hours, everything's going to be lit up, saying that, you know, there's an opportunity. But usually during the first couple of hours of the new trading day, and maybe it's a good thing I was traveling and couldn't do it, so I could point this out, because many times people will have the question, well, you know, I trade the Asian session, or I trade the New Zealand Australian session, and you know there hasn't been much range, so can I still do a Holo? Well, yes, you can, but you just have to be real careful, as always, because price could turn around and really bite you if like if you wanted to go short off of the highest open, and it turns on you. Next thing you know, it's breaking out long. So that's just one thing you have to be. Well, you're always on guard, but really on guard during that Asian session, about the first 5 to 6 hours, really, because you've got the Australian session for about 2 hours, then Asian session kicks in, and then it's good for the next 6 hours or so before London opens. So just be, really be on your toes, on guard if you want to trade a holo reversal. But, it really makes more sense to trade the buy zone because price is going to be moving away from the open rather than back towards it most of the time. And let's see, what do we have here? We've just got the different multimeters showing where we have highest open, lowest opens. But once again, early in the day is not really the time to trade the holos. I'm trying to remember if I think I read there was a couple of questions. But one thing I have to stress again, those of you who donate and get the indicators, like especially the dashboard, if you're having a problem, you need to send me the chart. And when I say chart, I don't mean just cut out this part here. I need to see the whole chart because what I really need to see is if maybe there's a suffix or a prefix that you didn't add and that's why it's not working. I need to see the chart. Somebody said they had one pair on the screen, but the dashboard was reading something else. Well, chances are, you see, if you pull up the template, but the indicator isn't loaded properly, you're going to have all these objects. I don't know how many of you all really get into it, but you see each one of these things is a separate object. And you can see, like, here's all the buttons and the labels that, deal with the dashboard, okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is if you load the template, these objects are going to be on the template. So to find out if you're having a problem, the best thing to do is open a new chart, drag the indicator on the chart. If it loads, then there's something really funky, and then you definitely need to send me the picture. If it doesn't load, then the indicator isn't in the right folder and hasn't been compiled on your computer because I send you source code. A couple reasons for that. Main reason is now you compile it on your computer so there's no viruses or any evil code in there. You can inspect it yourself and see there's nothing in there that's going to threaten you or your computer security. Because I know I've got a buddy who and we don't pass this information around the how to, but the bottom line is, especially in EAs, there's ways for really nasty things to happen, loading an EA if somebody wants to do you harm. So if you take that ex4 file and load it, you're putting all of your trust into that. Now, most people aren't bad, but it only takes that one person to really wreck your computer, your day, possibly your life. So once again, if you're having any problems with any of the indicators, I need to see the entire picture and not just a little teeny piece of it. Now let's see. Going back to the Holo here. Switching the time frame again. So you can see that we opened here and there really wasn't, that was the low of the day. Price just went up. So from 5 to 16, 5 plus about what, 8 or so, you'd be in a buy zone trade right here. So I think that pretty much wraps up the Holo. And once again, it's a horizontal line trade. You want to see price open, if it has you put in an H1 lowest open, what you want to see on actually I can do it down here, on a lower level time frame, for some reason it's going to take a while to load the data. There we go. And so if you were to take this H1 highest open, what you want to see is a candle close here and be red coming down and enter at the line. Now you might say, well, look, you could do a reversal here. But once again, there's a couple of reasons not to. Yeah, you could have tried to do a rat reversal, but you've only got 11 pips of range, okay? High minus close, close minus low. You add the two together, you get your range. You usually do that in your head. So that's why. And you want to wait for it to come down and come to the line here. Why? Because you see right here, this would have been a really good example, even though this wasn't the highest open. But let's just say, for example, this was the highest open. You see, price was going against you. So there was some close, but you don't want to enter against that green candle. You want it to be red. So you wait to the next hour. You see it went up a bit, but now you got a gray. You got a red H1. Okay, so part of trading is learning to be patient and wait for your trade. Don't force it. Don't think you're going to, oh, well, maybe I could get a couple of extra pips or something, because you can get your fingers burnt doing that. So just don't. That's all I can say about that, because you're just really, you're not following the system, and you're trying to game the system, and the odds are pretty much, or not the odds, but statistics are in your favor. Odds have to do with probability. Statistics have to do with past events. Probabilities future, statistics of past. Math's pretty much the same, but the data sets are different. And once again, this is just off the dashboard, people wanting to see right there. Okay, on this one, people wanted to see the different indicators. And, the training wheel Holo pretty much can tell you, keep you out of trouble. So right here, it's warning there's a breakout. So heed the warnings. That's why I wrote these indicators. I call them training wheels when you're first learning these methods. And in fact, let me look here, the training wheels. Yeah, see, this one's not donational. So it's either in the mother load. There's a mother load that has this and has this one here, and the multimeter Holo, and the My Notes Holo. It's got them all. Actually, the My Notes Holo, I can show those notes because I had them turned off. Okay. So it tells you exactly how to trade the Holo. So you don't want, if it's breaking out, a breakout would be making a new high for the day, no entry. And then you can't be late, because you want to be able to make sure you cover the spread. And so in this case, an M5 bar must open between the H1 open and the extreme, whether it's a high extreme or low extreme. Okay. And remember, once you get you're up 5 pips, move that break even up to that stop up to break even +1. You might get stopped out a bunch, but trust me, you'll be glad you did, because price will then keep going. And you can always take half off. So remember, 1 trade per bar. Don't push it, especially if you're new at this. So that wraps up the Holo lesson for today. Ask your questions. Just remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go drain the banks.